there will be times where you and I are affected by the imperfect decisions that somebody else makes. See, it got quiet. Here's real life. Sometimes we will suffer, not because of what you did. Sometimes we will suffer because of what someone else did. One of the most powerful superpowers that I want to lift up today that everyone in this room has is similar to the superpower Wolverine had, and that is you and I have the ability to facilitate our own healing. What, PD? Yep, you and I have been given the power to facilitate our own healing. Pastor, when did he give us that power? Is that what the gift of healing is? No. That spiritual gift is for other people. It's not for you. Well, when did God give me the ability to facilitate my own healing? When he gave us the capacity to exercise forgiveness. Yeah, the 8:45 and 10:30, they responded the same way. When I said he gave us, come on, church, he gave us the ability to facilitate our own healing when he gave us a superpower called forgiveness. And what the enemy doesn't want us to do is to get a revelation on how to use this superpower. He wants to present this superpower as some sort of weakness and capitulation and cooperation with someone abusing, misusing, and exploiting you, not realizing that this is a superpower. When you know how to use it right, it insulates you from the injuries being perpetuated on you by imperfect people. Come on. This superpower is the way you fight against the enemy of bitterness and resentment and cynicism and jadedness and hard-heartedness and emotional up and downness. Come on. The absence of forgiveness leads to the presence of emotional torture. You do not forgive as a sign of weakness. You forgive as a sign of strength. You do not forgive because you like the person that hurt you. You forgive because you love yourself and you refuse to stay a victim of somebody else's selfishness. Listen, when you get better spiritually, everything gets better. Spiritual life is not the only important part of your life. It is the most important part of your life because it affects every other part that's important. But you don't get stronger spiritually accidentally. It takes intentionality. You need to get fed, and you got to learn how to understand, how to interpret, how to apply, and how to explain the Bible. The Bible's the blueprint to your best life. And I'm going to tell you, Sunday's not enough to give you the tools that you need to get better with the Bible. I want you to join me in my community called Bible U, where I help you take your understanding, your application, and your explanation of the Bible to another level. God gives us this superpower because he gives nothing that he intends for us to waste. He gives us this superpower because there's a reality that many people fail to embrace. It's a reality that many people fail to accept. So they're living life in this bubble of deception. They're moving with an assumption that the world is the way they like it to be, as opposed to a revelation that the world is the way God says it is. So here's life. Can we just talk life? I say, can we just talk life? Here's the reality. The truth sets us free from living lives, from living a life of deception, being deceived. See, you do know the nature of deception is you don't know you're deceived. Y'all missed it. I said the nature of deception is we don't know we're deceived. And so when we're living life thinking life works one way, and it doesn't work that way, we need truth to set us free from that deception so we can move the way we need to move based on the way life is, not the way we think it should be. So here's the way it is. We live in an imperfect world that's filled with imperfect people who make imperfect decisions. And as a result, there will be times where you and I are affected by the imperfect decisions that somebody else makes. See, it got quiet. Here's real life. Sometimes we will suffer, not because of what you did. Sometimes we will suffer because of what someone else did. Come on. We become the victims of someone else's imperfections. This is life. We can dislike it, we can dismiss it, but we can't alter it or adjust it. This is the truth about life, and this truth sets us free from the false expectations that this won't happen. And if I'm moving like this won't happen, I'm going to be unprepared for the inevitable. And to be unprepared for the inevitable is to be naive. It's like seeing rain and refusing to take an umbrella because you're denying it's rain. But your denial of the rain don't stop you from getting wet. I wish I had a church that would talk back to me at this 12:30 service. The reality is this: the only way you can avoid injury based on other people's imperfections is to cut off total proximity. Proximity means vulnerability. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? You can get sick not because you went out the house with a coat. Y'all missed it. You can get sick because somebody else went outside of the house without wearing a coat or hat, and they caught something, and because of your proximity, you suffer because of what they did. Come on here. Proximity means vulnerability. When you date somebody and you say it's me and you trust in their decisions. I don't hear nobody. Come on. You are vulnerable to their decisions. When you say I do, you are saying I am vulnerable to being impacted by your decisions. If you don't want to be vulnerable, don't have friends. Don't have a team. Don't have children. Don't have a spouse, because other people can make a decision that impacts your life. Sometimes your schedule is at the mercy of what somebody you love do. And so because God knows this, what God does is he gives you and I a superpower that we need so that what happens for me ultimately is not determined by what people do to me. He says, I'm going to teach you how to respond to something that's inevitable. That at some point, no matter how many boundaries you set, no matter how many filters you try to put people through, no matter how guarded you are, in some seasons of life, God, this is what my pastor says, will delete your discernment. Y'all not talking to me? God says, no, you think I'm going to let you get every decision right? If I let you get every decision right, where would you learn humility? Where would you learn how to depend on me? Where would you learn patience? Where would you learn resilience? So sometimes I'm not talking to you because I'm not talking to you, because there's something I want you to experience so that you realize the importance of depending on me. I don't care how much you pray, there's some people you're going to miss. I don't care how attentive you are, there are some times you're not going to see the signs that you wish you should have seen. Sometimes you're naive, and other times God deletes your discernment. He says, because I'm not trying to show you something about them. I'm trying to show you something about people. Y'all missed it. I'm not trying to show you something about them. I'm trying to show you something about people. Y'all missed it. I want you to be surprised by them so that you know it's possible to be surprised by people. I wanted you to experience that so that you would know what people are capable of. Not for you to be jaded and cynical, but for you to be prepared to quickly utilize this superpower when you deal with offense. So that when it happens, you don't let it fester. So that when it happens, you don't let it change you. So that when it happens, you don't delay and live with it for months and years and letting what somebody did in the past control your future. I want you to learn how to exercise this muscle so that when they hurt you, you release them. So that when they hurt you, you release them. Not because you like them, but because you love yourself. Listen to me. You better get good at this. This is one thing you better get good at. This is one thing you better get good at. Forgiveness. Now here's the issue. Are y'all ready for this? I said, y'all ready for this? All right, here's the issue. The issue is people don't often take this seriously because they assume that just because they're not in pain, they're healed.